Greetings. I'd like to touch on the state of football, especially in local communities and where I believe we're lacking. I personally believe that there are three components to this when we talk about where the state of football is, in particular in America, Canada, in the country of my birth, Guyana, for instance. I think that we are so focused on team success that we're neglecting the individual skills of some young, up and coming, talented players. I think that what it does, it puts us in a position where we're producing quality teams, but we're not producing game changers. And it's a sad state when you think about it, because when you look at the U.S. national team, for instance, what we see is we're seeing a very good, solid team, but what we're lacking is that player that can make a difference, whether it's a defender, a midfielder, or an attacking player, a forward. And the reason for this, I believe, is that it starts at the younger age. For instance, when you have a young, talented player who's maybe 7, 8, 9 years of age, and he's playing on a team, and he's dribbling the ball, he or she's dribbling the ball, and they're really good at it. And that person, that individual is very, very talented. And what do you get? What do you hear from the coaches and some of the parents? Uh, it's shocking. They, in essence, they prohibit this young, talented player from growing. What you hear are shouts of pass the ball, don't dribble so much, and things like that. And I think that takes away the ability for young players to become creative and be themselves. And so what we have a situation where coaches are molding players into what they believe a player should be, rather than looking at a young talented player and seeing his or her worth and try to enhance that God-given ability, that creativity. Instead of saying stop dribbling and pass the ball, encourage them to use their creativity, but guide them and help them along the way in terms of maybe teaching them when to pass the ball rather than telling them, don't dribble, pass the ball. And so what we're doing is we're creating this environment where we have great teams, but we don't have game changers. And I think we have to be very conscious of the fact that there are two components that I believe prohibits kids from growing, from us getting those game changers. I believe it's coaches and parents. I believe that we have created a culture of pay to play, and what happens in that culture is that a parent believes that his or her daughter should be playing the same amount of minutes as a very, very talented player or players. So what happens is that player now is left in a position where he or she has to come down to that level, rather than that player being the player that everyone else is looking up to, and that player being someone that can enhance the level of play on his or her team as well as individuals. Because I believe that when you have special players, those special players are there to help enhance the level of the other players around him or her, not go down to the level of players that are not quite there yet. So we have this pay-to-play system, which I think is destroying football in North America in particular, because where do you find the talented players? Where do you find the hunger, the players that want it, that believe in this sport? You normally find these players in the urban areas, right? Remember, when football was invented, it was invented and it was called the common man sport. That meant it was the ordinary man. And it wasn't a sport for affluent people. It was a sport for the ordinary person working 9 to 5. And we've gone away from that in many ways. And it's become a sport where if you can afford it, then you get a chance to play. Now we have to create an environment where we are catering to the needs of all abilities, all kids that have special abilities, all kids that have abilities that they just want to play and have fun. And until we get to that until we get into that sense of, wait a second here, we have some special players and we need to guide them and put them into an atmosphere where they can grow and challenge them, we're going to end up in this vicious cycle of just producing quality teams and not creative individuals. So I think that also what I'd like to touch on, the fact that I believe that we as adults, we have to look at the situation and be honest. Be Let me put it this way: let's be loyal to the truth and not loyal to our friends, because I think in many instances we are more. Uh, we look at these situations and we see certain things that are happening, and rather than speaking out against it, what we do is we tend to sit there and 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 actually accept things that are happening that you well know is not right. So we have to stand up and have a strong voice and start cutting down on corruption in the game. And it's not the kids that are doing this. These are the adults. These are the coaches. These are the parents. These are the people in high positions that are making these decisions that are destroying the sport that we all love. And so we have to all come together if we want to see soccer or football going to the next level in North America and in places like Guyana, for instance, the country of my birth. We have to make sure that the adults are the ones who are making the decisions, that the corruption is no longer there, that we are all working together to give hope and opportunities to all kids, all young people of from all demographics. But we also have to cut out stifling the truly creative players. We have to give those players the freedom to develop and see and grow and grow in a way that doesn't prohibit their natural God-given abilities. And once we do that, we're going to see a difference, especially in North America. And we have to do something about the pay to play. We just have to. So I want everyone to chime in and voice their opinion. And if you disagree with me, I'm all for that. I think it's very important that we have opposite sides of the debate and people can talk and voice their opinion. But I think this is something that we need to have a great conversation about. And the corruption in the sport is something that we really have to tackle at all levels. And it's sad what we've seen happen over the past year or two with FIFA. And I think it goes from the top all the way down. And I think we have to be able to represent the voiceless. And having these debates and having these discussions, I think, goes a long ways in providing the voiceless with some kind of sense of there are people out there that are willing to speak on their behalf. So let me know what you feel, and we'll get back to you next week. And it took me a little while to get my second opinion out there, but I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit of time to think this over and talk to each and every one of you. And the football that we're seeing at Copa America, congratulations to Chile, and in at the Euro has been fantastic. Football is the greatest sport on the face of the earth, and we have to do better for our young people and our local communities. All right, take care. God bless. Talk to you soon. Bye now.